What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw, but you can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast with DB, Primo, and AJ.
Hey, yo.
If I can be serious for a minute.
Oh, yeah. Acknowledge me. What it is. Welcome in. Come on, sit down. It's your boys, the Sit Down Marks. That's who we are. It's episode number 134 of the Sit Down Marks podcast. It's your boy, DB. It's Primo in the house with me. It's just us two tonight. Life gets in the way. People have kids. People have jobs, but, wrestling marches on. So me and Primo is going to bring it here to you. So today we're going to be talking about WWE Bash in Berlin. We're going to be talking about AEW All In, All Out. They had two quick pay-per-views in the span of I think it was like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that. Yeah, it was a pretty quick a turnaround from I think London to Chicago. So, but Primo, how you doing, brother? Good to see you, man.
Not too bad, man. Just taking in all this wrestling we've been going on since the last time we talked.
We have, man, a lot of shock value in some of this stuff, and there's some decent wrestling somewhere intertwined in it. But let's break it down, man. Let's start off with a couple notes as we do. Let's talk the morbid stuff, as I like to kind of kick off the show, man. The master and ruler of the world, Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid, passed away not too long. I think a week and a half ago when this pod was recorded, and a big time wrestling figure, man. He has that notch in history where a lot of people know who he is and who he was. And do you have any memories of Sid Vicious, being in your age?
I mean WWF stuff, like,
sure,
yeah, Psycho Sid, and but and just stuff I've gone back and watched on my own. But no, yeah, he obviously just knowing he was one of the great big men.
Yeah, definitely agile, could talk. Yeah. Looked the part, man. I seen him a lot growing up. Like a memory in most is Sid Vicious and WCW. He had a lot of cheesy parts. Sadly enough, a lot of times when his name is brought up, I remember when he broke his leg wrestling during a match when I think he jumped off the top rope or something like that. And that was super scary. Something I always think about when I think of Sid Vicious, but yeah, I was just kind of wondering if you knew or if you had any memories or recollection of Sid Vicious. Let me tell you, there, Primo, another thing that always will stick with me about Sid Vicious is he's one of the first people I ever saw do a fist bump.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like as far back as I remember, like,
yeah,
it was always kind of like his thing, back then, like. You think about it now, like everybody does it now. Fist bumps are
for
very,
sure.
very common, So he would come out like, of course, when he was a face or something, he would come out like you'd see him. He wouldn't slap hands. He would like punch, like, fist bumps, And
yeah.
So that was always kind of cool. But we
reviewed that one match with Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice.
Right. Yeah.
Where he screwed him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He was in a lot of good angles, man. A lot of good angles. Great heel. Another little funny tidbit about him. I kind of forgot about him for a little while because he'd, been out of wrestling for a little while, and me and my family were big Brother fans from CBS.
Oh, yeah.
And Sid's son, one of his sons, was on there in one of the seasons, and so that was kind of cool. It was one of those things.
And so was Luchasaurus.
Right, yeah, it definitely was. That was cool. So, so rest in peace, Sid Vicious. But, man, he definitely did, did give a lot to wrestling. I think he was known a lot, maybe on the indie scenes and stuff, too, for no-showing events to go play softball. Big time softball player. So, Primo, man, there's a Netflix documentary coming out about Vince McMahon coming up here. It's coming out here really soon. I think it's going to be like a couple part series. You interested in watching that?
Yeah, I think it is a few, like at least 3 parts.
Mm-hmm.
I am interested because of obviously the lifelong wrestling fan of me, but I'm also interested to see how much they drag his ass through the mud in that last episode. So I'm curious to see that, honestly, because they were originally going to come out with it, I believe, and then all that other stuff, more recent stuff. I won't say recent, but the latest stuff we heard about him happened.
Yeah.
And so they added that in there, but it's going to be something, that's for sure.
It's gonna be interesting to see who they talk to. That's what I'm like, who's gonna go on this? Who's gonna go on this record? You know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, of course, right? So,
I love wrestling documentaries, so that's like that's me all day.
Yeah, man. What was the? It's coming. It used to be on. What was that show? That wrestling show about Duffy Heels? Yes.
Yeah, it's coming to Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. So I finally got caught up on that, and I'm excited that they're having another season of that. So, yes, it's going to be out. There's a rumor. I kind of looked this up here not long before the pod too, and I didn't see anything concrete about it, but they're definitely talking about moving the WWE Performance Center from Orlando to Vegas. That way, everything is right there in Vegas.
Everything, yeah.
Vegas is going to be Orlando's.
Sure, the UFC Apex is.
Right, yeah. Watch, they'll move NXT probably somewhere in Vegas, run it there, maybe. I could see that happening. To
all the craziness. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So this is probably going to come off as a little bit of hate. It's not, but Pat McAfee's gone for college football season now. We got new Raw commentary team, Joe Tessitore and Wade Barrett. Now,
bad news,
right? Like the Pat McAfee that I love is the football side. That's one I like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care for his wrestling talk too much, so I wasn't mad for him leaving for a while. But let me tell you, man, I'm almost 50. I'm an old school boxing fan too. Joe Tessitore has been like the voice of like ESPN boxing. It's not really much a thing anymore. I mean, it is, but not like it used to be. It used to be like Tuesday night fights, Friday night fights, like all this stuff used to come on. Joe Tessitore was like a big part of that. So it's hard for me to like see him as separated. Yeah. Like to keep hearing him. Yeah. So that's been a little bit of a struggle. I think he's struggling with it a little bit too, but we'll see. I don't know. I could see this one not working out just because it just doesn't seem like a fit right now, but we'll let it breathe, see what happens. All right, last notes, man, before we head to AEW. Do you know exactly what happened with Odyssey Jones? Did he, I felt like that Homer Simpson gif where, he comes in and he hangs his hat on the door and he comes in and does a little circle and then turns around, grabs a hat, puts it back on, and goes out the door.
I believe there's some kind of allegations against him. I don't recall what they are.
Yeah, I wanted
if they're concrete.
Yeah, I wanted to get back to that one to see what was.
But it's so weird, right? Because it's like they're building this angle with him and the New Day, and then it's like, all right, it disappeared. Now New Day has to pretend like nothing happened.
Right. Yeah,
which
it's a little weird.
I mean, if there's any true allegations of any misconduct, then obviously it's deserving, but to be fired. But
right. Yeah. So, it was. They were kind of inserting him in this like New Day role, and and we hadn't seen him in a long time on NXT as far as I can remember. But, we'll see. So, all right, Primo, a lot of AEW to talk about, man. Let's get to it.
Hey, this is Buck Nasty, Bucky Collins, and you're listening to Sit Down Marks.
Sit Down Marks.
All right, it seems like a long time ago, but it was actually not just a couple weeks ago. So London, England, Wembley Stadium, AEW All In, the first of two pay-per-views. We had Jamie Hayter return on the pre-show, so it was kind of cool to see her back in the fold. Then they had this big trios ladder match. I don't remember who was all in it, but I do remember that Pac, Claudio, and Wheeler won the BCC. The whatever they are now. So so that was it was kind of a decent match there. To put that on them, and then this match between Toni Storm and Mariah May for the women's AEW title. I like this one. This one was good. I thought it was I knew it was time to change. I mean, it was. I mean, I think everybody saw it coming. It's just, what kind of little crazy, little stuff they were to put on. So, what do you think about Mariah May? She kind of like bust onto the scene. Here she is with the title now. Probably a lot of people don't even know really who she is yet. What do you think about her, Primo?
Yeah, no, it's funny you say that because I turned not too long ago. I turned on AEW and my own ignorance, I was like, "Who is that?" but then as time has gone on and now the angle with her and Tony, no, this match was a good one. It's probably one of the better matches on the whole card.
Yeah. I liked it too. Next up was Hook versus Jericho, who was the what do you call
it?
For the world championship.
Yeah.
Was what he called it.
Yeah.
It was time to end this dumb little. I think this was just trying to get Hook a little rub with Jericho. So I guess it did what it did for that one, but Hook got it back. So. But they still calling it like an unsanctioned title, so I guess it's not really that big of a rub. But the three-way match for the AEW tag titles: FTR versus Young Bucks versus Acclaimed.
Young Bucks.
Yeah, Bucks going over. Kind of, I mean, I don't know. They're still going to, if they're going to still stay nasty heels like they are, they're going to. I think it's going to take a bigger storyline to pull them off of them. Like some bigger, baby face run from somebody else. So I could see them kind of hanging on to that for a while. But I mean, I don't know. How long do you think the Bucks hang on to this? Like it's kind of like the bosses have the titles. It's like kind of like when Vince was the champ. When Vince held a title, like it was just kind of like, sometimes like I know they're trying to separate. I mean, sort of. But
yeah, I mean,
they blurred
it's hard to say. I mean, are they going to have a long drawn out angle where somebody finally wins? Or are they going to bring in a tag team that that thinks worthy to beat them? So
right. Yeah. So next up was the Casino Gauntlet match, which I was super pumped about this. First things first, we had a Ricochet debut.
Oh yeah, Ricochet.
He's now in AEW. So
that's right.
So I look at this and I go, what is Will Ospreay's most famous match? I think I'm talking viral and everything. It's probably with Ricochet. It's probably
all the flippy dippy shit.
In the top 5. So so they're going to do a lot of work with him there. So he's probably going to get more work and do better there. Probably what I was most pumped about was Nigel McGuinness. Coming back, that was cool from the old ROH days, which, now he's in the mix and, I think I got it on my nose to talk about later, but him and Bryan Danielson possibly going to go at like this is
kind of weird thing, but
nerds, like wheelhouse.
I mean that part's not weird, but it's just the timing of it. We'll get to that later. Anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like are we going through? Are we going through Bryan Danielson's like dream matches? Is that what we're doing? Like we're getting out of the ones he wants
Right,
to do it one more time or something?
it's like it's like what Cena's gonna do. It's just like
Yeah.
his last run. He has the title.
Right.
Let's play his greatest hits.
Right. So, Casino Gauntlet match. Christian Cage wins, and he's still got this like shot at the title. Whatever. I think. I mean, Christian's going to be the champ when they're ready to go on the heel run with a champion again, non MJF. Because he's a tweener. But so I can see Christian Cage doing it. He'd be nasty enough to take it off of him. So what you think? What do you think about Christian as an AEW champ? Like he would probably be up there as one of the heeliest.
Honestly, I think it's probably about time.
Right.
When he first came on, I don't say when he first came on, but I remember way back when they first started Rampage.
Mm-hmm.
He won that Impact Championship against Kenny Omega. And then since then, he's had his heel run with him and Luchasaurus or whatever. I don't like the name Kill Switch, but
I keep wanting to say Kill Shot. I'm sure you do.
Yeah. So anyway, he's had a hell of a heel run. It's great. Thank God he's not wrestling fucking Edge right now. But no, I think it's time. I think it's fair. I think it's totally fair too. Like it's not like just some old, just another old vet stepping on people to get a title. I mean, he's been there and he's put in the work.
Yeah. He's like heading up this like big heel faction too. So, yeah. So I could see him being the one maybe taking it off of him. Next up was the AEW American Championship, if you're MJF, but I think it's actually called the International Championship. Will Ospreay versus MJF. MJF the champ. Another good match between these two.
MJF had like some Lex Luger inspired tights there.
Yeah. Like jumping all into the American gimmick, which I love, man. Not a whole lot of people do that much anymore, so that's cool. Of course, Ospreay won. He's not going to lose in Wembley, and wins the title back.
You're supposed to lose at home,
right? In the old days. Yeah, so that was decent. Not. I mean, like, I feel like probably about the same as their last match. Like, had its times, but it was cool. Mm-hmm. But I kind of like, I was into it to see the pops. I wanted to see what the UK fans wanted to put on for Ospreay.
So. It'd go pretty nuts when his music hit.
Yeah. Next up for the TBS Championship, Britt Baker versus Mercedes Moné. Supposed to be kind of a dream match. It wasn't. It was okay. Just didn't. I think they need to do it again some other time. But I wasn't super impressed by this. TNT Championship. Jack Perry, Jungle Jack, Jimmy Jack, whatever you want to call him now, versus Darby. So Jack's the champ. Sting returned
in a coffin match?
Yeah, like in a coffin match. Yep. So, honestly,
Jack Perry brought out glass.
Yeah. Like real glass, I think it was.
Yeah.
But
as a like fucking spit in the face of that whole Punk situation.
Oh geez, I know. Still just touching on it. So, and then for the AEW title, man, we all waited with bated breath. This is why I bought the pay-per-view. This is why I wanted to see this. This is the whole reason was Swerve as the champ versus Bryan Danielson. They had a stipulation on it. I think Bryan had to retire or something if he didn't win, something like that. So
yeah.
And Bryan wins it, man. It was cool, man. It was a really, really good moment, really good match.
The kids showed up.
Yeah. It was super cool, man. I loved it. But like I felt like this was just a precursor really to AEW All Out. Like I liked All Out more. Maybe I'm a little biased because it's over here in Chicago, but most smelly mark this AEW All In at about a 7.5. Primo.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was kind of meh, but I just think a lot of it's pretty damn like typical. So anyway, I'm gonna give it 6.5.
Yeah. All right, so we jump to All Out, Chicago, Illinois. We jump. I think was it 2 weeks later, something like that.
Yeah, like
Shout out to a lot of the indie wrestlers in the area of Midwest where we are. If you watch the Dynamite, I think it was the one before. There's a lot of guys that got some work in that segment. I don't know if you guys seen the segment where Moxley and Marina Shafir are walking in the back and they grab this kid with some hair, and John says, what we need more of around here, and they start beating his tail. Well, that was Connor Hopkins. He's
right.
one of our old guests on the pod. So I was like, heck yeah, man, that was awesome.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it was cool for them, man. So a lot of people got some word, man. So that's cool. So AEW All Out, man. So we kicked off with MJF, Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia getting over definitely as a face, but MJF ends up getting the win by low blow. Good opener. It's kind of, I think MJF's kind of getting back to his little shitty ways. You know what I mean? So this kind of made more sense here. Next up, we had for the tag titles, the Bucks, of course, versus Wheeler and Claudio. The Bucks retain clean. This is a pretty good match. I was into it for the most part. Claudio spun Matt Jackson 20 times, so that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
That was funny, but like Michael said,
literally like 20 times too.
Yeah, like no shocker to the Bucks retain.
Yeah.
Once again. Okay, and then we get to, I was super pumped about this match too, man. There's a spot that was, very questionable. We'll talk about it too. So for the International Championship, Ospreay versus Pac, and this is his first defense of the title. Very, very fast-paced match. Of course, right? Like, these two are in their prime, man. Like, the suplex on the ring apron. I don't understand why they would do that.
It's the hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, doesn't that really add anything to it? Like, Ospreay definitely just lands right on his neck. Like, I mean, I know they know how to roll and all that stuff, but man, that's just like, oh, jeez. But Ospreay wins by hidden blade. But I definitely love this match, man. Like, I mean, I love a lot of Ospreay's matches, so I'm not real, surprised that I like this one a lot. But when he matches up with somebody like Pac, it's that's can pretty close to match him for speed and quickness and timing, and it's good shit, man. So what'd you think about that? What'd you think about that one, man? Like, I felt like we were kind of seeing right.
Anytime you see either one of those guys, it's fantastic. Pac's great, and Will Ospreay is always great. So that's just going to be a freaking an awesome match every time.
I just said it felt like we were watching a pay-per-view match. We were watching a pay-per-view match. I meant to say
it's all out.
Like we were watching like a big title match, like something big, huge one. Like a pay-per-view ender. So, all right, and then so this match had like the crowd just hype, man. Like they were, and then so here comes Willow and Chris Statlander with a Chicago street fight. These girls had to follow up from from the crowd just going nuts and crazy, but it was still awesome, man. They got it on in their own different way. I was into it. Chris Statlander ended up getting the victory, but man, I was was totally about it, man. It was definitely dope as fuck. It was like I was like, man, these girls like they wanted it. They knew what kind of. I felt like they knew what kind of spot they were going to be in. You know, you got to go follow Pac and Ospreay. You know,
Right.
so yeah, crowd's gonna be pretty hyped. So that was nice. Okada versus Orange versus
Takeshita versus Briscoe.
Yeah. This was no surprise. I mean, Okada, he's not going to lose this. You know, what belt does he have? Like the
Continental.
Continental, yeah. So he's he hit the Rainmaker on Orange, so he's not losing anytime soon. TBS Championship, no surprise here. Mercedes retains against Karushida.
Is she kind of like, I don't know.
I feel like she's never going to lose those belts.
But is she freaking played out by now?
I just felt like the buzz is worn off. Like,
I feel like she's been played out, honestly.
Nobody's. Yeah. I mean, I'm still like on her bandwagon. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like maybe a gimmick change is what she needs. Doing this Monet. Like, I don't know.
I liked the boss way better.
Yeah, I mean they're not very far from each other, really. I mean,
she's not the boss, and she's not saying she's
she's not the boss.
So,
and then next up, man, was probably Jack Perry's very best match he's ever had in his life, and of course,
I mean Bryan Danielson's going to make him $1 million bucks.
Yeah, for the AEW World Championship. Of course, Danielson's going to win, but. This was decent, man. You know what I mean? Like I was like, all right, what are they going to do here? But, Brian let him do a couple, a couple nasty things, but he ends up getting the win. So let's talk about how this thing wrapped up, though. All right, so the patriarchy comes out, Christian Cage and everybody, right? And
everybody's daddy.
Yeah, and they basically get like blocked off by BCC coming out, and then they're just backing up like, oh, okay, cool. So BCC rolls in. Claudio rolls in the ring. He takes out Brian, I think. Somehow he ended up on the ground.
Well, they're doing the typical. They're raising his hand.
Right. Yeah. Gloating like we're on top again, and then like Moxley nods to Claudio, and then I couldn't remember how
he did uppercut.
Brian, okay, uppercut. All right, so Brian got to the ground. So and then kind of a crazy, shocking moment that we hadn't seen like in a long time. Like Moxley pulls out like an actual like plastic bag and puts it over Daniel's head, like to emulate that he's going to suffocate him to death, like he's going to like kill this guy. You know what I mean? And the crowd's chanting, "This is murder."
And clearly, Wheeler Yuta wasn't in on it.
He wasn't in on it, yeah. And so they're like that. So that's kind of a nice angle because Pac's like trying to hold him back.
Yeah.
So this was, a whole lot of things going on here. Obviously, like he doesn't kill him, thank God. And and they do this, bag spot, and everybody's just like, "What the hell?" I mean, little did they know we're about to see this cage match. It's gonna fucking. Make you shit your pants pretty much. But a funny little spot in this match too. I don't know if he caught it too, but there was one time where the referee, like clearly in front of the camera, told Jack Perry to kick out while he's counting. Like right in front of the camera. Wow. Like I was like, oh no. It's like I hope a lot of people didn't see that, but I don't see how you couldn't. But so it's Moxley's doing like this. He's got this new, like they've kicked out Brian, they brought in Marina Shafir. And
I don't care. I mean, I don't care what Moxley and them are doing right now. Like what their new little whatever they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But the bag over the head is stupid. Like, come on! Unless you're actually going to kill this dude on live television, why do it?
Right.
Like, there's no point. Like, yeah, what I'm saying? Beat the fuck out of him. But, don't, don't actually look like you're going to suffocate him to death. And then, there's a number of ways that they could have just left him laying in his own blood or whatever they wanted to do. I mean, they might have wanted to. They figured there's going to be 10 gallons of blood spilled in the next match. So,
right.
I don't know. I thought the bag over the head was stupid and unnecessary, and I guess they just let them do whatever they want. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they were, trying to debut themselves as this little more like we're out to kill people now. Like I watched Dynamite this past Wednesday, and they pretty much interrupted a match, just started kicking people's asses and stuff.
Yeah, but the BCC were already doing that.
Right,
before.
right, yeah. So it's like Moxley's. I don't know. I don't know. He's got inspiration, drawing,
trying to get his edge back or whatever, I guess. But I don't know. I just think that the bag thing itself was pretty damn stupid.
Right. I mean, this leading to a Moxley Bryan.
And if they wanted to do an injury angle, there's plenty of ways they could do it. The dude was retired for concussions, so
right. Well, glad he didn't suck up none of that bag either. That would have been bad news.
Lord.
All right,
just imagine Moxley trying to the hole that they had open so he could breathe. Just imagine Moxley's stinky dick hands in his face, covering the hole up.
Oh,
but anyway.
Geez. All right, so let's get to this crazy ass lights out steel cage match. Lights out steel cage match.
It's like what you would see on. You ever see that movie Ready to Rumble, where it's like the three. It's the worst, the craziest contraption at the end. The 3 stages of steel cage match. It's like whatever.
It's like a Punjabi prison match.
Yeah.
Yeah. You go. All right. So, I mean, basically, they should have just called this the pain tolerance match. Right?
Yeah.
All right, so they're doing all this crazy shit to each other. Throwing each other on cinder blocks.
That was probably one of the dumbest things I saw.
Yeah,
absolutely dumb.
Really, really hurt yourself on that.
He powerbombed him onto the cinder block.
Yeah, the dumbest thing I saw and hated about this thing was Paige putting the syringe through Swerve's mouth.
Too. I forgot about. Yeah.
Dude,
First of all, you're not a medical professional. You should not be messing with syringes.
Oh man, yeah.
You're not a crack addict or a medical professional, so stay away from syringes.
Right.
I don't think that was good either. But that cinder block was pretty damn dangerous.
Right. Okay, so let's step into the minds of wrestlers in this match, Primo. Walk with me here. So, all right, we've had this big feud, right? And we are. You fucked with me for a while. I fucked you for a while, and then we went out and did our own thing. Now we're back. The feud's even bigger this time. Went so far as to I burned your house down, your childhood house down.
Oh, that's right.
You've been to my, families. You know what I mean? So to blow this thing off, or I guess to serve it justice, you think that they feel like they had to do a match like this? I mean, if we're already blowing up houses and, doing that kind of stuff, we got to go above and beyond and really try to hurt each other to make it seem viable. Right. I
guess last man standing matches aren't a thing anymore.
Right. Yeah. Or first blood.
I quit match.
I quit. Yeah. We could have did all that.
I mean, when Undertaker lit Kane on fire, and he came, and they had to do an Inferno match. So,
right. But they would have wanted to do these cinder block, spots, and
they just want that shock factor.
Yeah, and and then probably maybe even the worst thing was the hard chair shot that Swerve.
Oh my god, that
for
too.
The finish. You know what I mean? And
disgusting.
I just. Yeah, I think I put in our chat that he probably lost 10 competent years of his life by taking that shot. Just it's just man,
he swung and fucking Hangman swung for the fences there too.
Yeah, and and then so I couldn't help but go right to social media, and, because I follow what I follow is wrestlers, and just watched them all just tweet about how that was just unnecessary, like set wrestling back like so many years, But I mean, they're gonna do what they want to do. And you can't tell them nothing, but it's just, man, like after all that, you did all that, and then you're gonna take a chair shot to, and just basically be out. And that's how Hangman wins. But I'll tell you this, man. AEW is now, if they weren't before, they're definitely a hardcore promotion.
I was gonna say, I didn't know I was watching the House of Hardcore pay-per-view.
Yeah. And I'm not letting my kids watch AEW no more. Like I don't ever know what they're going to do. Thank God I wasn't watching All Out with them. We watched All In together, because I think I was doing something during the day, and then we came home and I put it on, I had it on, but like if my son and my daughter's like watching that, like I get it. AEW and WWE are two different things, and so, but I'm just like, all right, that's it. I can't let them watch any of that stuff anymore. So
they just do shit that doesn't make sense.
It was wild, man. Like Shot Factor, I was like, holy cow. Like it was just, yeah. Anyway, let's smelly mark this thing, man, and we'll move on to WWE. So what'd you think about this one, man, for All Out? I liked it better. Like I said, Shot Factor, like holy shit, a lot of moments like that. I liked it better than All In, but
I'm gonna give it just a flat 5 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna go a little higher than that. There was a lot of parts of it like I did like, so I'm gonna just give it like All In. I'm at 7.5. I'm going at a solid 8 for All Out. So like I said, not nothing wild, but definitely liked it just a little bit more. So all righty, let's move on. Primo, we got to talk about WWE Bash in Berlin. Happened just a couple weeks ago, but before we get there, brother, how about a word from Sportswire Radio?
Looking for all the latest happenings in the world of sports and wrestling? Well, you're in luck because SportsWire Radio has you covered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days a year. With great shows in the world of sports, such as the Pinstripe Chronicles, hosted by Uncle Tats, Donald Stewart, and Rob Barrows. New York Baseball Talk with Chris Bazaya and Rob Maraska. The Liftoff Jets, also hosted by Chris Bazaya and Sharman Phillip. Neil Villapiano and the Devil's State of Mind. Randy Dillon's Hockey Fan Chat. In the world of wrestling, SportsWire Radio has you covered with Squared Circle Radio, featuring Chris Belcher, Andy York, and Jared Justice. Those sit-down marks with DB, Primo, AJ, and Michael. A work in progress, featuring the Mayor of Canton, Piles, and Glenn Abbott. You can catch all of these great shows and more anytime, anywhere, and any place via the Listen Live button on SportsWireRadio.org, and you can also catch SportsWire Radio anytime on YouTube at SportsWire Radio 6579 to catch all the latest happenings in the world of wrestling. SportsWire Radio has you covered. It's all sports matters and all wrestling matters here on SportsWire Radio. I am your host, the owner of SportsWire Radio, the #1 global radio station, the owner of the Promo Wrestling Federation, and one of the owners of the Pride Wrestling Federation. Your voice, figuratively and literally, where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce.
Thanks, Rev.
Oh, yeah, we got to thank you, Red. I want to thank everybody listening right now on SportsWire Radio. Thank you for checking us out. I want to thank everybody also listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Audible, and just thank you for checking us out. All right, Primo, let's jump to WWE Bash in Berlin, man. This was a pretty good card here, man. It was 13,149 people, they said, at the Uber Arena. I guess it's Uber, like, you catch an Uber somewhere, so to travel. So I'm assuming it's the same Uber. I don't know, but I'm gonna assume in Berlin, Germany. This was because he's from Austria, which is right across the border from Germany. Yeah. So he was kind of a hometown show for him. So to kick off the show, man, Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed title. They said that it was 7 years since Kevin Owens had held.
Since he had that Universal Championship.
That was the one he had.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember Triple H handed it directly to him. He double-crossed Seth Rollins and handed it to Kevin Owens.
Nice. I can see they're still doing the facts on the screens, the Matt facts, like we like to call them. It said something like Cody beat KO the last time they wrestled each other, and something else like Cody doesn't like ketchup on his hot dogs or something. I don't know, but I'm just kidding. At first I was like, oh shit, man, like here we go. More singing, crowds, which, I get it. It's what they do. But actually, it ended up not being that bad. So, but they were just really hyped up in the beginning. But Cody obviously won and kept the title because they did this kind of angle where KO kept refusing to fight dirty, during it, So that was kind of like the angle that he didn't want to win that way.
They're friends or whatever, and then he doesn't want to whoop the shit out of his friend.
Right, yeah. So next up for the women's tag team titles, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus Bianca Belair and Jade. I knew coming in this match, I'm like, okay, man, like either they're putting the belts back on Bianca and Jade, or this is the beginning of the breakup.
Yeah,
because I don't know. I just feel like Bianca and Jade, I just don't feel like they're gelling. Like they're kind of making it look like they are, but I just feel like I think
Bianca is holding it together.
There's something they can do there. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's got to be a Mania match, right?
And also, it's kind of weird that they just took the strats off them at SummerSlam,
right?
And they put them right. Then they gained them right back. So Alba and Isla Dawn did not hold them for that long in the age of where we hold titles for shit fucking long ass times.
Right.
So,
yeah. So now they're 2-time, I guess. So
2-time.
Third match of the day was CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in a good old strap match.
Right in the middle of the card.
Old days. Right in the middle of the card. All right, look, man. So right off the bat, Michael Cole made me fucking laugh. You know why? Because he goes, this is one of the most personal feuds in the history of WWE. And I'm going over a 50-cent bracelet. Like, yeah. Like, no.
My daughter made me a few of these, so that means I could be in on this feud too. So
somebody said they were selling them now on WWE Shop.
Yeah.
Like the girl, they didn't even tell the girl that originally made one from. Yeah, I don't know. You know how it goes, but crazy stat though. Punk wins, of course, because now they're 1-1. They got to do the blow off. This was Punk's first win in 10.5 years on WWE TV. TV, yeah, because he hadn't won since coming back. So that was crazy.
Yeah, what's crazy about this is,
excuse me.
I watched the freaking press conference beforehand where they brought in Drew McIntyre and a few other people. I think Randy Orton was there. Anyway, when Drew came out and he's talking to the crowd, he makes excellent points, man.
Right.
You can't help but be on Drew's side on this. He was there for us during COVID. He's been there this whole time. And he's all of a sudden the nostalgia act Punk comes back and everybody just hops on the Punk train and forgets about old Drew.
Yeah.
So it's like, he's actually not the bad guy here. He's the victim.
Right. But everybody loves Punk.
And
man.
Everything he's saying is actually true, but the crowd is just so blind with their love for fucking Punk.
He can't do no wrong, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Punk got his bracelet back. Yeah. Whatever.
It's broken in pieces now.
Now it is, yeah. Fourth match was Dom and Liv versus Rhea and Priest.
Yeah.
Rhea and Priest won, obviously,
Of
with
course,
a
yeah.
small distraction from the Judgment Day. Kind of knew where that was going. I'm starting to think like they're about to start doing this thing where Jay Uso and Rhea are going to start crushing on each other or something. Like, like Dom's already got his lady. Rhea's got to bring her man in. And Buddy Edwards works for AEW, so.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't have to have a dude with her.
She does.
She's pretty damn solid on her own. She's the one
Right.
that carried Judgment Day for most of the time.
All right, main event, dude. Gunther, the current world heavyweight champion, versus Randy Orton. Gunther ends up winning by a choke. Randy passes out. He didn't get pinned or none of that stuff. So, very physical match, of course. But this was good though. I know you're not a Gunther fan, but storyline wise,
It was good.
Yeah, Randy could end up being the one taking it off of him, later on down the line, and then
Randy
when Gunther goes for
definitely
the undisputed title.
I cannot wait till Randy gets another title run.
How many more runs do you think he's got in him?
So he was at the press conference too, and he said he just signed a new 5 or 6 year deal contract, and he said, this would be if he would have won this. He said, I can make this my 15th, then I can go on and win my 16th, then I can go on and win my 17th. So he's in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I would have loved for Randy to win. I knew they were feeding him to Gunther just to legitimize Gunther. But once again, you lose at home. You're supposed to anyway.
Right.
And he didn't. So
supposed to get your ass beat in front of your family. What happened?
They really want
here?
They really want to make Gunther like bulletproof. But it's weird they gave him like the best person that could probably take the title off of him right away.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. They wanted a big match for there, I think so. I mean, the crowd was definitely all on his side. So, Smelly Market, man, what'd you think? I love it. I loved it because it was, daytime wrestling, man. I'm all about it, so.
Was it outside?
No, it's inside.
It was inside. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I was going to say, you don't like outside.
Yeah, I don't like outside. I like daytime, though.
But anyway, no, I really enjoyed it. I'll give it a good 8, honestly.
Yeah, I'm right there. 7.5, 7.5. Pretty good stuff. So, next pay-per-views for AEW will be Wrestle Dream, and the next one for WWE, I think, will be Bad Blood in October. Yeah, one in Atlanta. And then they announced the Survivor Series in Vancouver, British Columbia for, is that November?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Survivor Series is Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Nice. All right, Primo, let's go home on these notes, man. So I know you're not a fan of the Hitman, but Bret Hart was on Monday Night Raw last night or a couple nights ago, and he had a little interaction with Gunther. AJ.
Oh, sorry, that's for the shit man. The shit man.
So he told, of course, Bret and Goldberg are not fans of each
that
other.
Was actually funny.
You like that part?
Yeah.
The best joke Gunther's ever pulled out that his favorite wrestler was Goldberg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Bret was there. That was cool. We had a Natty signing. Natty was there. She I think she even got a win. Like, what?
Your girl Natty.
Yeah, man. It's cool. I'm excited for Nigel McGuinness, Bryan Danielson, though, for sure.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, it's so weird because they put the bag over Brian's head to kill him or whatever, but bring him with an inch of his suffocation, no breathing. And so now he's out on an injury angle. And then Moxley comes in and so on Dynamite, Moxley comes in because Darby shows up and called out Moxley. And he said, Moxley told him, he's like, look, I know you got a title match with Brian, but he ain't gonna make it, and because he's at home trying to catch his breath or whatever, and so then Moxley and Darby are now having a match for the championship shot, and then later on is when Nigel comes out and he's like, okay, well, Darby's not facing Brian anymore.
Right.
And Moxley already said Brian's not going to be there. And then Nigel goes, well, Tony Khan said that, like he gave him that contract. He's like, I'm calling you out, Brian, for whatever it's called, for fucking that time. For this show. Anyway, that they were going to wrestle Darby and Brian. So now Nigel's calling him out for the show that Brian wasn't going to be at.
Right. Yeah. So it's all kind of, and then it's like, we're going to get Nigel versus Brian if.
Right. So if he shows. And it's not really a big deal to me, like them wrestling. That's cool. It's just the continuity of it all,
Right. Yeah. I know, right? Like, like a lot of storylines going on. So the PWI 500 came out digitally like yesterday. I haven't gotten my copy yet.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of people putting, out whether they, made it or not. Speaking of that, our boy Hartenbauer made it once again. He's number 445. But I want to give a shout out to him, man, because he's going to be on the man for a little while. He tore, I want to make sure I got this right. So he tore his left distal biceps tendon. So he's going to be, he had surgery today, so he's going to be out for a little while. So go by, one of the nicest dudes, if not the nicest dudes I've met in indie wrestling. Go buy a T-shirt or something from Pro Wrestling Tees for him, help him out. He's going to be on the man for a little while. So, but just want to say, get well, get better. Hartenbauer pulling for you, brother. Yeah, but I'm definitely excited for McGinnis Danielson. Whenever they get there, it's got to be a big stage. I mean, they're going to do it at that Grand Slam thing, but I don't know. We'll see. But like, I just want to see. Like, it's going to be nostalgic as hell. Like, it's going to be awesome. Couple notes here before
do we want to say a top 15 or?
Sorry.
Do we want to say a top 15 of PWI 500 or?
Yeah, sure.
Let's go top 20. 20.
Let's go top 20.
Yeah, we got Eddie Kingston.
And number 20, okay, sweet.
Yeah, 19, Mustafa Ali.
Yeah.
18, El Hijo del Vikingo. At 18, that's cool. 17, Jey Uso. 16, Sonata. 15, Moose. 14 is Bryan Danielson.
Cool. 14th?
Yeah, you think that's
nice. Maybe a couple of weeks. Come out a couple of weeks later, he might have been higher, but
of course it goes off of last year, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So August to July. Yeah. Okay, so 13 is Drew McIntyre, 12 is Sami Zayn, 11 Samoa Joe. In Samoa, they only call him Joe.
Dope.
10 Mystico, 9 Gunther, 8 John Moxley, 7 MJF. Lots of AEW guys up here in top 15. 6 Damian Priest.
Nice. Okay.
Number 5 is Naito.
5 is Naito. Top 5. Okay.
Number 4 Seth freaking Rollins.
Rollins.
Until they go to Netflix and he's Seth fucking Rollins.
All right, hang on. I know top 3 Will Ospreay's got to be one of those.
Yeah. Give me your guess. You know who number 1 is, right?
Cody.
Yeah, Cody.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you got top 3.
Cody, Roman, Ospreay.
Cody. Oh, Roman's not even in the top 20.
No.
Cody, Swerve, Will.
Swerve. Oh, okay. Swerve second.
Hold on, let me.
I wouldn't even been mad if. I mean, I know it has to do with a lot of things, titles, engagements, run, all that kind of stuff. So,
I'm not gonna lie to you, I don't see Roman Reigns' name on here.
I'm sure it's probably on there somewhere, right? Like,
and I am a Roman Reigns fan.
Is he too great to leave it out? while you look for that, I want to say that Sit Down Marks is going to be sponsoring a couple of Zawa Live shows coming up here in October and November. First show, October 5th, coming up here pretty soon in Nelson, Illinois at Parties on Pope. We're sponsoring that show, but we're going to be in-house for the November 16th show at the same place, Parties on Pope in Nelson, Illinois. Checking that out. What'd you find out, Primo?
He was excluded from the PWI Top 500 because he didn't make the minimum match requirement. You know, they have requirements.
Oh, right. Yep. Makes sense. Cool. I want to thank Solomon Tupu for coming on the pod. I sat down with him a couple weeks ago. If you're so inclined, go check that one out.
Good interview.
He just had a birthday. Thank you, sir. He just had a birthday, so happy birthday, Solomon Tupu, the new Iron Spirit Pro champion. So go check him out. WrestleMax champion, Madhouse champion. So go check that out. And I want to announce, if you listen to that pod, you already know, but I want to announce my next guest coming on the pod here in about 2 weeks. Going to be dropping a pod with a guy I've been talking to a lot at Iron Spirit Pro and checking him out in some other places too. This guy's out there, you know, he's on the grind. Trying to make it independent wrestling. He's doing really, really well for himself. He's a super cool dude, man. I'll be sitting down with the Dark Horse, John Bonhart. He is another graduate of the Black and Brave Academy. So we'll be talking about his run over in SCW and some of the other things he's been doing. So we'll talk about that. So check that out here. Probably about 2 weeks that will be dropping. 2 weeks, I guess I should say, towards the end of September. I want to plug the next Dreamwave show. It's going to be called Trick or Treats. Of course, it's already sold out. October the 12th on IWTV is where you can check it out. We just announced, we were talking about Vikingo. He's going to be wrestling Connor Hopkins for the Dreamwave Championship in that night. So a lot of other matches. So come check us out. IndependentWrestling.tv and use promo code Dreamwave if you're a new subscriber. But yeah, we're going to be back in a few weeks with John Bonhart, and then after that, at least for sure, you know, hopefully, me and Primo will be here talking
Primo and DB.
AEW,
DB Primo.
Wrestle Dream, and WWE Bad Blood, everything that went down in Atlanta with that. So, yeah, so we'll eventually drag the other two in here at the same time. It's just, you know, boys are just busy, I guess. So,
yeah, another shout out real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just skimming this list. We mentioned Hartenbauer at 445, 446. Another previous guest on the pod, Gary J.
Sweet, nice to see him on there. Yeah. When I get my magazine, we'll maybe break it down a little more and talk about you know some other that's in there. I imagine it should be in my mailbox here very soon. But Primo, appreciate it, brother, man. Thanks for hanging out and talking wrestling with me today, man. It's good to catch up with you. Primo and I want to thank everybody listening on Spotify, Audible, Apple Podcasts. I want to thank everybody joining us today on our YouTube page. Please give us a follow, subscribe to us, and also give us a like, follow on our Facebook page. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. Follow along. And we want to thank everybody listening on SportsWire Radio, of course, and make sure you go check out sportswireradio.org via the Listen Live button. Check out all the great shows that are coming on there. We'll be back here in just a couple of weeks with John Bonhart, and we'll be back with Primo and the boys, hopefully, let's see, probably about middle of October. So thank you, guys. Be safe out there. Top guys out. So we're not going to call them the Harris brothers no more. We're going to call them the Houdini brothers.
The fucking Houdini brothers.
Yeah.
Now you see them, now you don't. Or maybe you never see them.
They just disappeared, just poof, out of the air. It smells like a fart when they're gone.
That's right.
It smells like a
Poof
fart.
out of the air. Smells like straight trash fart.